I'm not a named doorman people talk about. I started, learned to fight because I was bullied at school. This young lad looked like nothing and he just batters this lad and I was absolutely enthralled. I want to be him. There's no doubt about it. When we work in the door, you can't not make enemies. The floor is just covered in blood. Then he just drops. It wasn't a punch at all, it was a knife. I didn't need to get any better at fighting. All I had to be good at was being very violent. 2 more doormen jump on him. I thought they killed him. I had sleepless nights after I've seen people lying there for more than 5-10 minutes, waiting for the news to come on or the police coming around. Would you mind videoing me? I'm getting an award from Chuck Norris for work on Texas Ranger. Joe Pesci's ex-wife's husband shot down on his doorstep. They have set me up to be in a p***o. And my first thought, how much they pay? I was in 3 games. They're actually now, they're famous for being, how about I lift my kilt and this big fireball comes out, gone to a house, chopped her dog up. Me and you, let's have it right now. I spar with all the top boxers. I just banged him, not killed him. My advice to somebody who wants to start working the door, don't.
Welcome back to the Criminal Connection podcast, and this episode is proudly brought to you by Betovo. Before we get stuck into this week's episode, we're going to give a big shout out to our sponsors.
This season's podcast is brought to you by Superstar Speakers Events. They are the UK's #1 destination for exclusive live experiences. These guys don't just put on events, they deliver unforgettable nights with some of the biggest names in sports, entertainment and beyond. From jaw-dropping Q&A sessions to meet and greets and unmissable stage interviews, they bring you face-to-face with the icons you love. Whether it's football legends spilling the secrets of the beautiful game or entertainment stars sharing untold stories, Superstar Speakers knows how to create memories that last a lifetime. And here's the big news. I'll be teaming up with them for an evening with Terry Stone, a live tour you won't want to miss. Head over to superstarspeakers.co.uk for dates, details and tickets. Massive thanks to Superstar Speakers for supporting our podcast. Please go check out their up-and-coming events now and book yourself a night to remember. Click on the link below and get involved. Welcome back to the Criminal Connection podcast. My name's Terry Stone, and today we've got a Criminal Connection podcast exclusive. We've got a legend from Coventry. He was very well known around the doors. He's a martial arts expert, and in my words, not his, he can fucking have a row. So please put your hands together for Mr. Ian McCririck in the house. Hey!
Terry, I'm impressed with me. I actually sound really
mate,
good, don't I?
The only disappointment I've got, Ian, is you did say you was going to wear mankini today.
I've got one underneath. That's for later. Do we have a hat?
That's for the after party. Yeah.
That's the after party. Yeah. Did I mention that?
Brilliant. You didn't. But Ian, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I'm so excited to share your story. I'm sure a few people from the Midlands will definitely know about Ian McCranor and your exploits on the tours. But let's go back to literally growing up as a kid in Coventry.
Yeah.
And, you know, how you started off, because Ian's written a book, which I just absolutely love. And it's actually here. It's Fighting With Myself. And, you know, we loved it so much that Ian and myself are making a movie together, right? Or maybe a TV series. So
yeah.
Very
Or
exciting.
both.
Or both. Because the thing is, the film would be a beginning, middle and end, but a TV series, because it was over, was it 4 decades?
On the door or the book?
The book was 4 decades, but the actual door was 15 years, right?
I was 15 years working the door, but the book starts from when I'm about 5 years of age, growing up in Coventry and Willenhall. I was a very shy, very scared kid, running from everything. You know, you got these schools who have got like conflicts and they meet and fight. I was the person watching them run to the fight. I was running away from the fight. Right. I was having none of it. I was scared of all that kind of stuff. So the book starts at me at 5 years of age, I guess through to now. And it really focuses on how I managed to create separate alter egos. I started learn to fight because I was bullied at school.
Right.
Like most kids are. And I thought I'd live my entire life running from things.
Right.
So my brain went to a place where if I can learn to fight, the people that I admire are these people who can handle themselves.
Right.
I got an idea. I'll learn to fight. So of course Bruce Lee was on
He
the
was
TV.
the man, wasn't he?
He was the man, and you know, at a young age, you think you can take out 20 people in one go. The ignorance is just incredible, isn't it?
Right.
So I thought I'd.
Is that all not true then?
Well, I've done it, so it is true. There's no footage of it.
Right.
But so yeah, I kind of thought I'd learn to fight. The thing is, Terry, no matter how good I got, technically, at having a fight, and a fight isn't what you think it is. A street fight and a competitive fight or a fight in a hall is totally different to outside. So I thought I'd learn to fight. Quickly realised I didn't need to get any better at fighting. I was technically proficient. I knew what to do.
Right.
All I had to be good at was being very, very violent. So I created this alter ego that was violent. And the violence that I put on people literally took seconds. That's what it was. And the book really, although it starts off talking about violence, it's not a book about bouncers.
Right.
It's not a book about being violent. It's a book about finding yourself, fighting with your insecurities. All I really wanted to do is be confident, which I wasn't. I was shy and scared of everything.
Well, that was one thing that I took from the book, because I had a similar upbringing to you. Got bullied at school, learned to box, to defend myself. And what I took from the book was, I think if you're growing up in, and most people in this country do grow up on a council estate, right? There's a privileged few, but the majority grow up on a council estate or in a working class environment. And unless your parents are basically teaching you to fight and you're in that sort of world, you grow up as a scared. You know, you go out to school, you know, you haven't got the confidence. But what I thought your book did very well was it basically said to the reader, you know, everybody can be confident. Everybody, if you be confident and, you know, you put the effort in, you can achieve anything you want. And I think that's a great message, whether it's in fighting, whether it's schoolwork, whether it's in business. It has a message that resonated for me on multiple levels. And you know, so I hope everybody that watches this podcast does buy the book, because I think when they read it, they'll be going, what a great book. But what I loved was when you were sharing some stories about the bullying, and please share that story with the kid on the bus, because that when he was telling people to open their mouths, because this will make you feel sick, but I actually thought it was pretty gross.
Yeah, this was a time where I guess I'd started fighting back. I say fighting, I was doing my best at fighting back. I had no clue what I was doing. I'd had it with a bully. Didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but it didn't turn out as bad as I thought it'd be either. So I was kind of gaining that bit of confidence, understanding how having a scrap at school worked. And sitting on the bus, went to Binley Park School in Coventry, sitting on the school bus, and one of the known, I won't mention his name, one of the known bullies is walking up and down the bus looking for his next victim. Right. And that's the interesting thing, that a bully isn't looking for a fight. A bully's looking for a victim. He doesn't want to fight with somebody, he wants to hurt somebody. That's what he does.
Right.
So I'm watching this bully walk up and down, and he walks in front of this one lad, stands in front of him, and he says, "Open your mouth." And the whole bus is watching. He's opening your fucking mouth. And this lad opens his mouth, and this bully snorts the biggest lot of snot into the back of his throat, spits it into his mouth, and then made him swallow it.
Wow.
And I'm just sitting thinking,
I bet his parents are really proud of him.
I bet they're proud of him, yeah. So he starts walking up and down again, then he stops just short of my seat. I'm thinking, it's me next. But I've already decided that ain't happening. I was not doing it. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew he ain't doing that. So all of a sudden, he sits down on a seat really quietly, a few feet from me. As a skinny kid, I've seen him at school a few times. I've racked my brains. Knowing we're doing this, I've racked my brains trying to find out what his name was.
Right.
He was only in school for a while. He was a new kid in school.
Right.
skinny, a few years younger than us. He walks up and he just batters this lad, knocks him flying, knocks him out. He's lying on a school bus unconscious. And this young lad looked like nothing. He looked like absolutely nothing. And transpires he weren't. He was a former schoolboy boxing champion for Liverpool.
Right.
His family had moved down to Coventry to work in a factory. And I remember watching him and I was absolutely enthralled. I want to be him.
Right.
The beauty was that he didn't make a song and dance about it. He didn't tell nobody. He didn't make a big noise about it. He just did the business and went and sat down him. I thought, that's who I want to be. I want to be somebody who can take care of it, but not be a name, not be somebody people talk about. And hopefully, and people in Coventry who know me, hopefully I've achieved that, because I'm not a named Doorman people talk about.
Right.
But people who do know my name, they've seen me involved in some stuff.
Oh, if they've been on the receiving end.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, and this goes out really to anybody younger watching this, you know, the bullying, you know, I mean, some of the things that kids do to each other. I mean, obviously being a boy, the only things, I never experienced that, but I've seen people put dog shit down people's backs and rub it in.
Yeah.
The best one, well, it's actually gross as well, but people used to pull back their foreskin and rub their finger around it and walk up to people and give them like a moustache. That was fucking gross. And I actually walked around saying to myself, if anybody does that to me, I'm going to fill them in.
Yeah.
But luckily, touch wood,
nobody
happened. Did that to me.
Hasn't happened yet.
Right, yeah, there's still time.
There's still time.
But you know, this sort of, I always wonder who comes up with this shit.
I know.
You know, because it's sort of just so fucked up. It's
Yeah.
like, who actually sits and goes, this is a good idea?
Yeah. And what's that got to do with, there's nothing to do with fighting whatsoever. We're talking about self-defense, and we're talking about having a fight, learning to box. These people are not there fighting with people. They're just doing disgusting, horrible things to people who won't fight back.
They're just tormenting them.
They're just torturing them, yeah.
And obviously you going through seeing this kid, did that then, you went to the boxing club after that then? And
I'd been doing Aikido as a kid, and not to learn to fight at the time. It was just, my friends were doing it, so it was fun. And I'd go over to the boxing bit and do a bit of that. Nothing serious. I wasn't trying to learn to fight at that time. It was just a bit of fun. But I got into karate for the sole purpose of thinking it would help me be able to have a fight. The physical aspect of karate, you can kick well, you can punch well, you can move well, but that's only a small part of it. I'll ask you a question, Terry. How old are you?
I'm 53. I know I look younger. I was
going to say, yeah, like that. 53. So for 52 years, you've been walking.
Yeah.
If you started when you might have been a late learner, I don't know, but you started
I reckon
aged
about a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
So how many single steps have you done in 52 years?
It's going to be in the millions, isn't it?
It's going to be billions, isn't it? Trillions.
Billions.
Yeah,
Well.
it's going to be a lot. So you're a one-step expert.
Right.
Yeah. So if I asked you to take a step, you could do it without any thought whatsoever.
Yeah.
How about I now ask you to go to the high diving board or stand on the edge of a cliff where they all dive off, long way down.
Big problem. I don't like fucking heights.
Exactly. But the physical act of taking one step is not difficult.
Right.
You can do it. The reason I use that analogy is I was doing thousands of kicks, thousands of punches, a lot of bag work. You do thousands and thousands and thousands of them in this controlled environment. Okay, now this big thug, dangerous man is in front of you. Take that one step. Do that one punch that you've done millions of times. It's the same as taking that one single step. It's not physical. So once I learned to be physically, got a physical ability, the one thing stopping me from being able to use that physical ability was pulling the trigger.
Right.
I can punch the pad. I can spar with somebody in the club. In actual fact, my very first night working as a bouncer was when a bouncer came to the club. He'd worked on the outskirts of Coventry, a lot of experience in taekwondo, a lot of experience in amateur boxing. He was about 10 years older than me. And he'd come to the club just to get some more different sparring experience. And the instructor said, go and spar with Ian, he'll have it with you. So I had a great sparring session with him, put him on his arse. And he says, you ever thought about working the door? And my heart sank. I've been lying to myself for years. I've got this ability, but it's worthless. It's great for the club.
Right.
It's worthless. He said, no, we'll look after you. We'll take care of you. Come to the club. Said, you'll do all right. You can handle yourself. and I believed him. I believed I could handle myself. So go work this night. And
how old was you then, Ian?
19.
Wow.
19. I'd had a few scrapes, but nothing like I seen that night.
Right.
This wasn't, no. So I'd gone to this club, we're on the front door, and he's saying to these guys, you want to see this kid scrap, he can have it. And I'm thinking yeah, of course I can, you know. The ignorance is just ridiculous.
Right.
And this one guy says, I shouldn't take long then. He says, seen who's in? What? So he said, don't worry, we'll take care of you. So and it kicks off inside this club. So I've gone in to see what's going on.
Did you get in your horse stance?
I got yeah, I did. I got in a horse dance. I did some like Bruce Lee moves, and they shit themselves and they legged it. I wish. So I've gone in. It was my first night and last night.
Right.
There were people being glassed, people being hit with chairs, the bouncers were knocking people out, and it was horrible. I'd gone in thinking I'll go and do whatever I've got to do. I just didn't know what to do.
Wow.
There was no fight going on. It wasn't fighting. It was just absolute and utter violence. And the one guy, I can remember, he grabbed somebody, pushed him towards me, and I didn't know fucking what to do. I shit myself. And he said, I'll go and fucking stand outside. So I've gone back outside. He said, don't worry, we're good. Everything's going to be fine later. You know, it's your first night, you know, helping me really. And so maybe they kicked these lads out. And maybe an hour later, this face appears at the door, shirtless, blood all over him. One of the guys that had been kicked out have come back. I'm on my own. And he goes to come in, I put my hand on his chest, and he says, get your fucking hand off me. And I just bottled it. I went, what the fuck? I didn't know what to do. I let him in and then lied about it, that I hadn't seen him. So I've looked through the door. I said, hey, Rob. Called him Rob in the book. Rob, he's in. That guy's back in. He sneaked past me, something like that. And Rob just chins him. Two more Doormen jump on him. They kick the shit out of him, jump on his head. I thought they killed him.
Wow.
The first night, I thought they picked him up, threw him out the back, and then carried on like nothing happened. I thought they killed him.
That's what the fire exits were used for.
Yeah, exactly. You don't learn that in a karate club. You don't even learn that in an MMA club.
Right.
That kind of violence, you just don't. It's a different world. So I quit the same night. I finished. I was done. But I'm a black belt at karate. I've got trophies all over the place. I've got my foot in the door competing internationally, and I'm thinking, I can't live myself. I can't do this. So I quit. I got back on the door later because I just couldn't live with the bullshit. I couldn't do it.
And how long did it take you before you went back on the door?
It wasn't long. I think it probably maybe 12 months. Once I realised that watching other doormen, you go out for drinks and you see them.
Yeah.
Once I realised it was just about being great at violence, and it literally lasted seconds, I started working mentally, not so much physically. I wasn't throwing as many flashy kicks for competition. I wasn't working on point scoring. I was working on setting traps, tricking them into position, setting traps, and then knocking them out.
So what was your signature move then? I know when you play that computer game, you fire thunderbolts from your kilt.
I couldn't use that. that wasn't around at the time. Yeah. So,
but what was your move? Was it the headbutt or was
headbutt? Normally, I used to I trick them into I kind of come here, I can't hear you, and then butt them.
Where would you aim for? Would it be on the top?
No, just smash them right in the face or the jaw, the face. You hit head to head, you can knock yourself out.
The only reason I asked is because I've never headbutt anybody, because I tried once and I hurt me.
Yeah, probably because you hit there.
There's a technique to it.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be one; it'd be like you headbutt them 2 or 3 times,
right?
And you'd have blood all down your face, and they're more often than not you would see a depressed cheekbone. Right. Hit the cheekbone, cracks pretty easy, nose and mouth. It sounds horrible, but it's the real world. That's the world we live in.
Right.
And if you're going to work the door, and you're going to be involved with violent people, you can't answer it by being nice.
No,
You've got to be more violent than they are.
A lot of people don't realise, like when we used to do air clubs, we always had people that could have a round. Now, obviously, there's this new sort of SIA
You're right,
badge thing, and you're not allowed to have a criminal record, and you have to be an upstanding member of the community. But I do think since they've done the IDs, the CCTV, obviously it has put a lid on it, but it can still go off.
Yeah.
And I know if I was in a club that I owned or was running, I'd want to know that there were some people that could actually deal with it, like you said, because the only way you can meet violence is with violence.
Right.
Saying to somebody, sorry, mate, you got to calm down. Please don't glass anybody else in the face.
Yeah.
Do you mind leaving? They're not going to go, okay, I'll put my glass down and I'll go home.
Yeah.
They're going to stick it in your face. So,
Yeah. And there's a massive difference to somebody having a fight. When 2 people have a fight, it's like an agreed fight. If you and I fall out, which hopefully we don't.
I'm definitely not fighting you. You'll beat me up.
If you and I decided to have a fight, the chances are there'd be some rules. We're going to go out and we're going to have a fight. But that doesn't happen on the street. There's a clip that I sent you, which is absolutely horrific, and it shows the point completely. There's 2 gangs. How they got involved in what they're involved in, I don't know the backstory, but I think it's either Australia or New Zealand, I'm not sure. But they've obviously got something going on, conflict going on.
Yeah.
And this one group is chasing this other group. There's no strings on them, there's no cage around them, they can all just run away, they can go away. But they're not. This one group's moving away, and the other group's following them, and they keep turning around and testing each other. And this one guy gets close, and the other guy who was walking away throws what you think's a punch. It's so fast you can't really see what's going on. The guy who gets hit holds his neck, and literally in seconds, you see the floor is just covered in blood. Then he just drops to the floor. It wasn't a punch at all, it's a knife. And the guy dies. I researched it, he actually died. But they had every opportunity, all of them. They're all moving away. They could have gone away. And I said something on I taught a lot of group fitness classes in the United States. I got this big group, and somebody had found out my background back in the UK. So they're asking me about fighting and self-defense, and it's something I didn't really get into. So I drop a bombshell, and I say, you know what? Here's something to really think about. Don't take it as gospel, but just think about this. Men typically don't get attacked. And the guys have gone, what? I said, men typically don't get attacked. And this one guy said, well, how's that true? I said, okay. Do men get attacked? Do people jump on them? Does it happen? Of course it does. But typically, a man doesn't just get attacked. There's dialogue first. There are mannerisms. Something has been done. They don't get attacked. What happens is their ego gets attacked, and the ego gets them into a confrontation. Because if you're sitting in a bar and you're watching something kick off and somebody's staring at you, it's difficult. When you're in the moment, it's difficult. You can talk about it now and it sounds easy. But in the moment, it's difficult. You can walk out of a pub anytime you want. Nobody's holding you down. Why are you continuing to progress this aggression and fight with somebody Number one, you don't know their ability. Number two, you don't know what they're carrying. Number three, you don't know the reputation. Then there could be somebody who's going to come back. A man rarely just gets attacked.
Right.
His ego gets hit. And he goes, "Fuck that, I'm not having some of that. I'll show him." What do you mean you'll show him? You don't even know him. And even if you do beat him and you knock him out, and that's one of the reasons I when I left the door, I did. I'd knocked a few people out, and I got to the point where
more than 100.
more than I don't know. I lost. I don't know. There was
It was not like you got a little book and you go,
no,
yeah.
exactly. I used to go home and cry. I was upset. My empathy is far too great to be a bouncer. I'm not a fighter.
Right.
I'm really not a fighter. But I learned how to have a fight.
Do you know what, Ian? There's not many people, right, who would openly admit to that. They gone out and knocked out a few people and then went home and cried about it. And
Oh my God! Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Right.
I remember knocking this one guy out once. He was only about 19, but a 19-year-old. I've seen people 19 push a glass in somebody's face. So the age is irrelevant. He's a young lad. I remember knocking him out, and he fell to the floor, and looked down. And when somebody, if you need to go to the toilet and you're holding it in, when you're unconscious, you piss yourself. You can't hold it in anymore. I've knocked this guy out, young lad out. He'd lying on the floor. He's pissed himself, and his jacket's open, and he's got a lottery ticket on the floor. He's been out that night to better his life, to win a lottery.
Wow.
There's a wallet there with pictures in. His shirt's all covered in blood. That's somebody's baby. That's somebody's kid. I've just hurt somebody's kid. But he's going to hurt me. I didn't knock him out because he just swore at me. I knocked him out because he was going to hit me with a bottle. So it was me or him.
Right.
And so I'd go home, my son's in bed, and I'd sit. Yeah. And I just well up and look at my son and go, I'm filling up now.
He is difficult. I mean, I bet he didn't win the lottery either the next day.
No, exactly. So what's probably happened, his ego got attacked.
Right.
He'd had a few beers. His ego got attacked. Don't let the doorman torture you like that. I'll have him. So it's me or him. Now what would have happened if I killed him? How do I go to sleep at night now? How do I now live knowing I've killed somebody's child?
That's the scariest thing for anybody, whether you're a doorman, whether you're just a normal person walking down the street. If somebody, attacks you, or like you said, they tread on your foot or what you're looking at, if you do actually go, F you, and then you did have an altercation, and then, it doesn't matter. You could just fall wrong.
Yeah.
And hit your head on the floor and you're dead.
Yeah.
And, it's that thing where if you're going to, I've only ever hit anybody in self-defense. I've never actually gone and hit somebody.
Yeah.
Just being a prick, But I think that's the only way you could cope with it, because I think, if you did hit somebody and they fell down and banged their head and died, it's how you process that and cope with it. It's tough. And I know people who've done it. I mean, touch wood. I know a lot of doormen. I know a lot of security guys who've had to do basically what you did. And I've knocked out multiple people, but nobody's died. But I have actually heard of other things where somebody hit someone, they fell over and hit their head on the floor and got a blood clot and died.
Yeah. I had a fair few sleepless nights after I've seen people lying there for more than 5-10 minutes, and you're thinking, waiting for the news to come on or the police coming around.
Right.
Not just that, you've hit people who are connected.
Right.
And you don't learn that in a karate club or a boxing club.
Right.
You don't learn to accept your door being knocked at 2-3 in the morning, people coming looking for you.
Right.
That's what happens in the real world.
Right.
So what I did, Terry, was I separated the sport, I call it a sport. Right. Karate to me, a lot of people would say it's not a sport, but a lot of those people also who do traditional karate will say it's not a sport, it's for self-defense. It's a real killing thing. And most of those never had a fight in their life. They're just saying it's supposed to work like this.
Right.
So I was doing this competitive sport that I absolutely loved, but I was shit scared of the violence. So what I ended up doing was I separated the two. I could enjoy my sport now because it had nothing to do with self-defense, nothing to do with violence. It was just a skill with a set of rules that I could go and enjoy. As a bouncer, it was recognise what's happening, recognise and it's going to kick off, and be first. And be first literally means 2 or 3 seconds, tops. Anything more than that, and you could be in a world of trouble. So if I couldn't finish it, and my intent was, every single time, my intention was unconsciousness. If they're not unconscious, then I'm in trouble. So that's kind of what, I wasn't a good fighter. I got good at hitting people. I'm not a good fighter.
I'm good at hitting people.
I got just good at hitting people.
I love that.
But again, that isn't who I am.
Right.
I managed to create a personality. I remember it was only weeks ago actually when we knew we were doing this. You were on a podcast yourself,
right?
Talking to Liam,
yeah.
And you said that you offered a chance. I don't know what movie it was. Dave Courtney gave you an opportunity.
Hell to Pay, yeah.
Okay.
Hell to Pay.
And you said, I just played myself.
Right.
I just played myself. And it was was it like ad lib? It was just
made up, yeah.
Just made up.
Script.
And I watched that and thought, I'm going to be an actor now because I've acted my entire life.
Right.
As a bouncer, that was not me. It isn't me. But I was able to create this personality, this alter ego that I gave that job to. So when it came on top, I go, right, alter ego, you're on.
Violent Ian, you're wanted.
Ian, you're wanted. So that person would then go ahead, do what he had to do. And it was brutal. It was, it wasn't, you can't have nice violence, but it's brutal and brutal.
What would you say was the worst violence you saw when you was on the door?
The first night I worked, when I was seeing people getting glassed, that was bad.
Oh, welcome to Coventry.
Yeah,
son.
welcome to Coventry. But I think one of the scariest ones for me, and it's in the book, where we were working the door. I won't mention the guy's name. There's two of us working the door one night, and a name came to the door. Everybody in Coventry who knew who he was, and he was dangerous. You don't let people in who you know when they're in, it's going to kick off. You just don't. I've seen Doorman let them in. They say, oh, no, he'll be okay. Well, no, he won't be okay. The only reason you've let him in is because you bottled it. And I get it. I've bottled it loads of times. And I still will. So this lad, humongous guy, come to the door. And the guy that's with me said he can't come in. He's going to get the fucking way. I'm thinking, okay, this guy's got to go. There's no two questions about it. You've got to take him out. The window of opportunity to do that had now gone. So I stepped forward and I thought, I'll try and get into position, talk to him, and just put his lights out. And I'm shitting myself. And but he was clued in. This lad was clued in. He'd wasn't his first rodeo.
Right.
So I tried to get in position, and he says, "Me and you, then, is it?" Oh, for fuck's sake. So now I've done what I always said I would never do. I've got a square go with him. On the street, people walking by, and that is my leg. I fell over twice. My legs were that heavy. I fell over twice trying to get in. He's 6'8". Wow. He's a monster, and I was shitting myself and trying to get into him and struggling. In the end, I managed to get the better of him. Banged him a few times. His legs went. Hit him again. Unconscious. He's on the floor. Anyway, the word has already got around. I'm kicking off with this guy. Another doorman are coming over to make sure we're okay. And I'm shaking. The adrenaline's going. And he's out for a good maybe minute. He gets up, I think, it's not over.
You're probably wondering how the Podfather brings you the best true crime podcast every week without fail, with great energy. Well, here's the thing. To bring that energy, I have to feel my best and be at my best. And that's where Hype Energy drinks come in with their powerful blend of vitamins, taurine and caffeine. Hype Energy gives me that extra edge to stay sharp and focused in every interview. It's not just about the buzz. It's about clarity, alertness, and bringing my A game to every conversation. Now, Hype Energy isn't your average fuel. We're talking flavours like explosive cherry, red berry buzz, and even mojito, mint and lime. No weird aftertaste, just bold and refreshing flavour. No wonder they've won an award for taste, right? And if you're all about the zero sugar life, make sure you check out the watermelon and cheesecake flavours. All the flavour with none of the guilt. Yeah, I know, cheesecake in a can sounds mad, right? But trust me, it'll blow your mind. Now, the marketing team at Hype Energy keep telling me that MFP stands for more frigging power. Now, I've told them it's not about that, it's about more frigging Podfather. Know what I mean? And lucky for you lot, if you want to try it out, go to the checkout and type in Podfather in the offer code and get 20% off. Not only that, if you use this exclusive code, you'll be entered into a competition prize draw where you'll be in with a chance to win a Hype goodie bag signed by yours truly. And 5 lucky winners will get a 3-month supply of Hype. So let's get into it. The Podfather is officially powered by Hype Energy drinks, because when you feel your best, you're at your best.
He gets up, he fist bumps me and said, "Good one, yeah, respect." Gets up, walks away. And I'm still shaking. Some people get over it really quickly, it lasts a long time with me. And I'm still shaking. And so lads are celebrating, oh, what a great victory, all the rest of it. 10 minutes later, he's walking up the road again. He's walking back up. He's got a tracksuit top on. His top was ripped off. He got a tracksuit top on. He goes, "Hey, I want another go." And already, my adrenaline has just destroyed me. I don't want another go, but I'm thinking, here we go. Okay, just let's go for it. I've gone out to go, and he pulls an axe out. Yeah, pulled an axe out.
Mad axe man.
Pulls an axe out. So I just legged it, shut the door. And
what a fucking cheat though, you know what I mean? If he can't beat you, so he comes back with an axe.
Well, that's his life really, to be fair. Right. And so
did you have CS gas then? Because you could just give him a little.
No. Although I've got a story about stun guns.
Right.
I'll tell you this. I've got stun guns. So we've gone
did you
down.
Have CS gas then or not? Was that later on?
No, we did have some. Yeah, people have brought them back illegally.
Or was it pepper spray?
I think it's just CS.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, spray. But no. So we go down, go and check the back door, make sure the back door's locked. In case he comes round there. And
I'd be worried that he didn't do the old Jack Nicholson with the axe.
yeah.
Hi, Johnny.
Yeah.
Hi, Ian.
Yeah. So next thing we know, the place is swarming with the police. Somebody's called the police.
Right.
Swarm with the police. And the policeman says to me, so he had an axe. I went, no, didn't see an axe. Do you know his name? No, I knew who it was. You can't work the door and have a fight with somebody and start telling the police who they are, what they had, and all the rest of it. You never work the door again. So no, didn't see an axe. Didn't see it. No, didn't see that. What's his name? Couldn't tell you. Don't know. To me, it's over. It'll go away. Right. A week later, in the back door. In the back door, that sounds good, don't it? The back door.
Well, when you had your mankini on.
Yeah, got the mankini on to make sure the back door's open. So go down this hallway to the back door because somebody's knocking on the door.
Right.
And we open the door, and there's maybe 10 guys out there, like the warriors, like the movie, like just some crazy people out there. One guy says, "Who's the guy who's fighting with this guy's name?" And I saw that as me. He said, "Oh, here's his phone number. He wants to talk to you. You need to call him." No cell phone back then. No mobile phones. Cell phones. No mobile phones. He give me his phone number. So he said he's worried he's going to go. He got arrested that night. He's worried he's going to go down for this. So I called him to meet him. We met him in a pub and sat in a chat with him. And he was fine. And I said, "Listen, you show me the respect. I'm not going to the police anyway, but you show me the respect and just don't come to a pub that I work at again. If I say you're not coming in, you're not coming in. You'll hear nothing more from me. If the police want me to go to court, then I won't do it." The court case did come up. He did get arrested. He was being charged with it. And the police came around my house about I left the house at 5 a.m. because I knew the police were coming around that day because I didn't turn up at court.
Right.
I wasn't going to go. Because I didn't go, he got thrown away, got thrown out rather. So never seen him again, never spoke to him again. But it's as easy as that.
Yeah.
There's some nutcases out there.
That was obviously, like you said, sometimes you chin the wrong person.
Yeah. That could have come back years later to bite me because connected people, some of them don't forget. They want their ego.
Right.
They want to get back at you. It's a silly job, really, isn't it? When you think about it, somebody's got to do it, but it's a silly job.
I mean, it's for me, I was always, I appreciated people that did the job because obviously they're putting their lives on the line.
Yeah.
Right? But I never understood, like, even if you were high level, you were getting a couple of £100 a night. For me, it was sort of like, you're potentially going to get, you could get stabbed, shot, murdered.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
And you just sort of think the money's not enough. Do you
I
know what I mean?
know. I know a few people who've done time for manslaughter.
Right.
They were working one night, hit somebody, went tits up, and in jail for it. And that wasn't their intention.
But then, my understanding, and this could be wrong, is that as long as you hit someone out of defence, if they did fall funny or die, then it's self-defence.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. Right. My understanding is that there's no way you can hit somebody and they die that it isn't at least manslaughter. I could be wrong.
Right.
Check up on that.
Yeah,
wasn't premeditated.
I always thought that if somebody attacked you and you hit them, as long as you only hit them once, it's self-defence. But obviously, if you hit them and stamp all over them and they died, then it's a little bit excessive.
It'd be worth looking into.
Yeah.
It is difficult, though, to hit somebody once.
Right.
Once you've hit somebody, you kind of just follow up, and before you know it, you made a mess of them.
Right.
It's over because the adrenaline, and very rarely you just hit somebody once.
Did you ever learn that Bruce Lee 1-inch punch?
1-inch punch. It looks impressive, don't it?
Yeah,
it looks really impressive.
But the karate, because I did karate for a little while just to try it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was the type of karate that I did, but I found it was very just sort of like katas, walking back, throwing punches. It was all very just felt like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and I found that quite monotonous. And that's why I didn't keep it up. But somebody did say there was different versions of.
There's different styles of karate, and there's different what it's intended for. So, majority of people who are involved in traditional karate do it for the art. There's a self-defense label attached to it, but in reality, if you I keep coming back to this word violence. If you don't have a violent intent, then all you've got is some impressive kicks.
Right.
Powerful, impressive. Kata is very good at making you very disciplined. Good stances, good technique. There's no such thing as good technique in a street fight.
So the stuff that you used, was it literally a bit of Aikido, a bit of jiu-jitsu, a bit of karate, a bit of boxing?
No, it was just... hit them, bite them, and f*** off. that's what it was.
So do you know something? You should actually set up, hit them, bite them, and f*** off. School of martial arts. You know what I mean? I would fucking sign up for that.
Yeah. I would say when a parent says, "I want my kid to learn to defend themselves,"
right.
What would you advise them to do? Go to a boxing club, go to a karate club, go to some kind of MMA. I'd say no. I would ask you to go to a boxing club probably first, kickboxing first, because it is contact. You learn to get hit. It's very basic. Boxing at its basics is not difficult. Landing it on somebody, making it work is difficult, takes years. But the basics you can learn pretty quickly. But the one thing that child needs more than anything is the confidence to walk away. The confidence to not listen to their friends. Go on, have it with him. If you don't have it with him, all your friends are laughing at you. Have the confidence to not have it with him and walk away. If it comes on top and you've got no choice, you're not having a scrap, then boxing is going to probably save you 90% of the time. Anything less than full contact, anything less than a real scrap, you're just going to look like a fool. Even if your kicks are good, punches are good, if those kicks and punches and those techniques are not delivering the goods, they're not finishing them, finish that person, then you're in a world of trouble. So when a parent would say to me, what does my child need to learn? The confidence. Learn to be confident so you don't give a shit what your friends are saying, so you don't bend to peer pressure. That when they say, he's laughing at you, go and have a fight with him, you can go, no. If there's no cage around you, there's no ring around you, there's nothing, you can run away. If a big grizzly bear stood in front of you now, massive grizzly bear, you wouldn't go, I'll take him. You'd leg it.
All depends if you mastered a 1-inch punch.
Or that, or the kilt. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So the one thing that I think a child should aspire to be is confident, not a physical ability. Physical ability comes second, but you don't, like we said with that, the guy who punched, and it wasn't a punch, it was the knife.
Yeah.
You stand up there and say, I'm a good boxer. Yeah. I heard of a guy in Coventry a good number of years ago, did exactly that. Good boxer, could have been a big name, could have done something. Come out of a nightclub, somebody it had a talking to in the club, had a bit of fallout with, offered him a square go. He says, yeah, okay. Stood up, went for a square go. The guy just does that, slashed his face. Ended his career, totally. And all they had to do was go walk away. But that's difficult. I take a lot of confidence to know that your friends... How many people, Terry, are sitting in prison now because they didn't want their friends talking about them saying he bottled it?
Probably loads. And do you know what's the scary thing? And obviously it's different for us because we're only a couple of years apart. And obviously I think parents nowadays, they want their kids to be safe. They want them to be able to defend themselves. Yeah. But, I think if someone actually asked me now, and I'm in this dilemma because both my boys said about going to the boxing club, and I've taken them to the boxing club.
Yeah.
But what worries me is that when they get the confidence and they think that they can have a row, if they ever do get into a competition, they probably will have a go. And for me, I would say now, the best thing you could do is join a running club, and just run because now, like in the old days, like if somebody pulled a knife on you, it'd be fucking really weird, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like an anomaly, and if someone pulled a gun out, it'd be even more stranger. But now it just seems the kids are going around with fucking coat hangers, they're going around with fucking acid, knives, zombie knives, and you just sort of think, when you're having an altercation with someone now, you honestly don't, in the old days, it's like you don't know, like you said earlier, you don't know who you're fucking dealing with.
No.
Now you know who you're dealing with, but also they could be carrying a fucking weapon. Yeah. And most of these people, they would just do it because they don't give a fuck. Yeah. And then how do you defend against that? So I definitely, that as a parent, that's the one thing that worries me is that you give your kids too much knowledge and then they think that they can take care of themselves.
But when somebody, like your lads, went to a boxing club, they become very good boxers. Boxing is only going to work if you and the person in front of you agree to boxing.
Right.
And there's also a second there. There's somebody to stop it.
Yeah.
The rules are it's boxing. In a nightclub, there are no rules. There are no, we're going to, you're a good boxer, so we're going to... No, it doesn't work like that. So there's a humongous difference between being technically proficient and having a boxing fight and having it on the street. Even a travellers, when they have a square go, they want to meet up and have a square go and settle their differences man to man. There's still somebody there to stop it.
Right.
It's only boxing. They can't kick, they can't bite, they can't gouge, they can't stab each other. It's just a boxing match. They just break it up. So even if you're very good at boxing, you can still say, no, I don't want to fight with you.
Right.
No, we're not doing this. That doesn't happen in a nightclub. You have a square go with somebody outside, which doesn't happen. There's no square go one-on-one with somebody. when they hit you, there's nobody say, okay, he's had enough. Let's break it up. When he goes down, they're jumping all over your head. They're kicking your head around the car park. They're stabbing you. So why are you even doing it? Men don't typically get attacked. Their ego do. Your ego. Right. Your stupid ego got you into a fight you could have walked away from. Your mates may well be laughing at you. Oh, Ian was in the pub. Somebody looked at him, gave him some shit. You know what he said? Let's leave. What? He wanted to leave. Did he bottle it? Yeah. You're all safe, ain't you? We got away, didn't we? That takes a lot of confidence to do that. For them to talk about you, he bottled it. Thank I did. Thank God I did bottle it. Yeah. I could be inside and you lot going, tough guy he is to see him kill that guy. Fucking great. He's doing 20 years for that. Respect. Off. Yeah, he ain't doing none of that.
You mentioned obviously travellers. Was there any problems with any travellers in Coventry?
I worked at a nightclub on the outskirts of Coventry, and the twice they had travellers' nights, and we were just there getting paid for doing nothing because they come in and go, leave it to us. We go, yeah, we're all right. They had their own bouncers. They walked up and said, anything kicks off, we're in charge, and we went, yeah, all right. What's the point?
Yeah,
you're not gonna win that shit.
No. I mean, we never really had any problems, when we was doing events. But I know lots of travellers, and they normally do police their own people.
They're actually a nice bunch.
They have a problem. They go, let's have a straight go. There's no issues. Just meet up and sort it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you said obviously about that guy, on the wrong side of the tracks. Did anybody get seriously hurt on the door when you was working, like any of the doormen?
Seriously hurt? The club I worked at that I just mentioned, where the travellers were, it kicked off one night, and I was the only one standing. And it's more by luck than anything else, to be fair. And the two guys went to hospital. One guy, he got a fractured skull, fractured jaw. The other guy was out of commission for months. Now, I don't know whether it brought it on or not. A year later, he died of cancer. I don't know. I mean, having a fight doesn't bring on cancer, but he was.
But I do say they reckon that there's some scientific link where if somebody has a really bad car crash or really bad injury, it can do something to the immune system, which lowers the immune system, and then that can literally be like pouring petrol on something like because everyone's got cancerous cells in their body, but obviously if they're allowed to grow, then that they reckon that there could be a link. I mean, I'm not Dr. Terry, so.
Turbo Terry.
Yeah, I'm Turbo Terry.
Yeah. These two guys got a kick in, and I got a few scrapes, bruises, and they got compensation. Those lads got compensation. I got nothing. I should have played it up a little bit.
Yeah, I got whiplash.
Whiplash, yeah.
I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, when you was on the Doorman, you must have been offered other stuff where people have sort of said, "Oh, do you want to do a bit of debt collecting?"
Not debt collecting.
Can I give you some money and turn the blind eye?
Oh yeah. Well, you were in the rave scene. You know how easy it is to sell drugs. You know how easy it is potentially.
Well, do you know what's funny? It used to really annoy me because when I was doing my events, I'd do these big events for like 3, 4, 5,000, 10,000, in some instances 20,000 people, and I'd always be metal detectors. It was like proper. It was invasive searches. It wasn't just patting them down. It was grabbing hold of them and making sure they had nothing on them. I mean, they didn't do that, but it wasn't far off. And what I always used to laugh about is I used to go into the rave like around midnight. Everyone's off their heads, and you'd be like, "How the fuck are they getting it in?" And I am convinced that if it wasn't the doorman in on it that was working at the venue, it was the people that own the fucking venues, because we had air people and nobody was getting past us, and everyone was going unless they was all taking it when I was in the queue,
Yeah. You, if you work the door long enough, and I did 15 years, if you're long enough in a big city, you can't help but be involved to some degree, not involved, be associated with drug dealers. I've been asked numerous occasions to take something somewhere. We'll pay you, good money. You're not known to the police. They're not going to follow you. hire a car, drive to.
But if they do, you might get 10 years in jail.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They're going to talk about it. They'll find out. I had lots of opportunities to make some really good money by moving stuff to other places. Drive it here, drop it off. And the reason I'm asking you is because the people you're dropping it off with, it might kick off. As long as you can take care of yourself. I said, no, it's not worth the risk.
And did you get anybody propositioning you to kill people?
No.
I had somebody on here recently, a doorman, and he said that somebody actually asked him to literally, he was doing some work for him, like debt collecting, and he actually said to him, "Oh, if I give you 20 grand, can you kill this guy?" And he was like, "I don't kill people."
No.
Don't do it. And,
Will you kill somebody?
And it was just a bizarre.
I actually know people who probably would.
How much do they charge? Just asking for a friend.
Talk to you later. I'm asking for a friend.
But I mean, I'm sure life's cheap, isn't it? Right? If you got the right.
Well, you've got to be pretty desperate financially if you're going to go and kill somebody.
Yeah.
The risk. I mean, but the thing is, how could you kill somebody and live with it? I couldn't do that.
I suppose it depends on the circumstances, doesn't it? I mean, if somebody done something, I suppose it's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't say whether you would or whether you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I've always thought when you sort of see things, I've obviously seen quite a lot, just probably the same as you. And when you see how quickly things escalate, and you think, wow, that you could like that fight we was talking about earlier, when the guy looked like he punched him, but he actually cut his throat with a knife.
Yeah.
When you look at something like that, that's how easy it is to take someone's life. And I'm sure the guy didn't intend to kill him, but he was just
got a knife.
Yeah, but obviously, if you've got a knife and you're waving it around, I mean, you could kill someone.
Yeah, talking about killing people. I mean, I call it dodging a bullet in the book. Did I? I kind of think I did. There are people out there for money, no doubt about it. We hear about it in movies, but it's real life. And I was very, very close to that. I'd been invited to go to Vegas with a friend, Jeff.
Right.
Jeff was teaching a self-defense course on the Chuck Norris course in Las Vegas, and invited me over.
It sounds terrible, doesn't it? Oh, do you want to come to
Vegas? I was living.
Go on, you twisted my
go
arm.
on, man. No, I was actually living in Indiana at the time.
Well, so you worked the door in Coventry.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst for you going to the States then? Was there a reason, or did you just like literally fancy a change?
Well, I've been traveling back and forth. I used to arrange trips to the States a lot, competition.
For the karate?
For karate, right. So we competed a lot there, ended up settling there, living there. So I was living in Indiana, and Jeff Thompson had got his book out. And
which one was that? Watch My Back?
His first one, yeah.
Yeah, I read that. It was a good book.
Yeah.
Good book.
Yeah, good guy, Jeff, good, yeah. Now he's, that's one handy fucker. He can, he's the real deal.
He can have a row.
He can have a row, yeah. Nice guy too. Nice guy though.
Lovely.
So we've been mates for years, trained together, sparred together, worked the door together. So let's
have it right. Did you do him or not? Did you put him on his ass?
Yeah. Oh no. Anyway, no. So I'm living in Indiana, and he messages me or calls me or whatever, email I think it was at the time. I don't think there was any messaging at the time. Didn't have phones, did we? Like smartphones. And he said, I've had an invite to go and teach self-defense because of his book in Las Vegas. I'm only a few hours away. Right. Said, see you there. Great, 2 Coventry kids, Las Vegas.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? Yeah. So
did you remake The Hangover when you was out there?
I said, we should have done, shouldn't we? Could do that. We could do that.
I could just imagine you and Jeff walking down the strip in your mankinis with them big fucking the Mexican drinks, the big tequila things.
Yeah,
I could see that.
You got me thinking that. Yeah. We should do that. Where was I? I was in Vegas.
He was in Vegas,
and fair play to him. Jeff gets me a gig teaching competition because he was a self-defense thing.
Right,
it was all about street fighting with him. He wasn't a competitor, although he did get involved in competition. It's
Right.
disqualified every time. I just get knocking people out. And you weren't allowed to do that in traditional competition. Ian, can I come to your competition? Yeah, of course you can. Ian, can I come? No, off. You're not coming again. You keep knocking people out.
Right.
So we're in Vegas, and he gets me this gig teaching competition techniques to Chuck Norris competition team. Thinking,
Was Chuck there as well?
he was there in the evening.
Wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legend, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was legend. Yeah. But he didn't come to the training because he heard I was doing it and he didn't want to get involved in all that because he
Probably
knew
fucking about your reputation. He probably thought, I don't want fucking
Yeah,
Ian.
exactly. Yeah. So he bottled it.
Right.
Basically. Yeah, he was there in the evening.
Chuck, you fucking bottler.
Yeah. So I'll tell you about the evening thing in a minute.
Right, wicked.
So I'm teaching competition to Chuck Norris's competition team. I'm thinking, wow, kid from Willenhall, Coventry. How did this happen? Get to the evening. Later on that afternoon, I saw a guy, Garrett Warren, who was a stunt coordinator, Hollywood stunt coordinator. And he's teaching a group fitness class. There's 100 people there, and it was just phenomenal to watch. It was kicking, punching. You've heard of Ty Bow?
Yeah, of course.
Billy Blank.
Yeah.
And Garrett is one of Billy Blank's students.
Right.
And he's teaching this thing called Tyrobics at the time. And he's teaching this group fitness class. And it was just phenomenal. To me, it was karate repackaged.
Right.
There was no martial art intent. It was just kicking, punching, and sweating. And they're all got great physiques. They're all fit as And so I watched that and I thought, I need to talk to this guy. I want to do that. That's what I want to teach that. That's what I can do that. So that evening, there was an award ceremony, and Chuck Norris came in. He kind of bypassed me because he bottled it. He was scared. He wouldn't come and talk to me, so I had to go and collar him. Anyway, Garrett comes to me and said, "Would you mind videoing me? I'm getting an award from Chuck Norris for work on Texas Ranger."
Wow.
So I sit down, video him. He comes, sits down, start chatting with him. He lives in Agora Hills, California. Invites me out there for 2 weeks. I go out there for 2 weeks, twice a day doing this. He absolutely, totally destroyed me. The people in the class, they were just amazing physiques. They were fit. It was just a phenomenal thing to see, this fitness class. And they weren't karate people, martial art people. They were just Hollywood people kicking and punching and having a sweat and having a great time. So I'm going to teach this. I'm going to get good at this. Twice a day for 2 weeks, I'm learning what to do.
Right.
So I say to Garrett, right, I'm going to get back to India and I'm going to start doing it, which I did in the end. I got massive classes, really successful gym doing that. So I said, we'll keep in touch and you can help me progress this. Yeah, fine. A short while later, I put the TV on and it's the National Enquirer. National Enquirer, the front page is normally just all bullshit, like the frog on Mars gives birth to twins.
It's like Sunday sport.
Yeah, it's like that. So this thing comes on, it says, Joe Pesci's ex-wife's husband shot down on his doorstep. So I hadn't mentioned this bit yet. So Garrett was married to the actor Joe Pesci's ex-wife.
Right.
And they were estranged. When I stayed with him, she wasn't there. His child wasn't there.
Right.
They'd moved out. And he was, bless him, Garrett he was having a hard time of it at the time. Right. So he's a different person to what he really was. He was obviously upset at what's going on. And so, yeah, I'd not long left his house. And weeks, maybe a month. And someone knocks on his door. He opens the door and they shoot him 4 times. Lost his eye. Survived. Okay. Lost his eye. But the whole thing was orchestrated by his wife, which is Joe Pesci's ex-wife.
No wonder Joe got rid of her.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So
don't fuck around with Joe's wife.
Yeah.
She's a real good fella.
But the reason I mention that is that when I saw the news report and different, there's YouTube clips now, you can look for it, about what happened. There's like documentaries about how it happened. I realised that I'd been opening that door for the 2 weeks we were there, we'd have takeaways. And even though we're fit people working out,
Right.
we would have the odd takeaway, more than the odd one. So the amount of times I'd open that front door, and apparently the door was open and he just shot him.
Wow.
And he lost an eye, but so I call it dodging a bullet. 'Cause in my mind, I did. But he's doing, I speak to him not very often, but occasionally via text.
Right.
He's still doing okay. In actual fact, Garrett was the fight choreographer for the new Roadhouse
Right.
movie with Conor McGregor. So I saw him there. He's got a patch on his eye, and but he's got a family now, and it all turned out okay. But that's how close you can come to.
Did she get out of jail for that?
She's probably out now.
Right.
I think he got 70 years. I think.
Wow.
The guy. It was either was it a brother-in-law or something, but she wanted him dead, and she paid him to go and kill him.
Wow. After that, because you did some stuff on a movie, didn't you? Was it? You was working with Daisy Dukes, weren't you?
Oh yeah, not yes and no. Garrett's class was Hollywood elites. I won't mention no names. The people in there, Hollywood actors. There were stars in there too.
Sounds like a terrible place to go.
It was horrible. Yeah.
How did you cope with going there?
Yeah. Garrett comes to me one day and said, can you help this lady out with some fight choreography? She's got a movie coming up. And it was Catherine Bach from Dukes of Hazzard, Daisy Duke. They were remaking or making a movie of the Dukes of Hazzard. And we didn't do much. It was just like throwing punches and kicks and
Right.
that. I don't think she used any of it. It was just like how to do this, how to do that. But so that's my claim to fame.
Right.
Should we name drop?
Go on.
So claim to fame was, you know Wayne Gretzky is?
No.
You do. Wayne Gretzky is the great one, ice hockey.
Right. Okay.
Ice hockey legend.
Right.
Yeah. If you follow ice hockey, you'll know who Wayne Gretzky is. We're at Garrett's house.
I know he is now.
You know who he is now. So we're at Garrett's house, and he said, we're just popping around my mate's house for a drink. So, yeah, okay. So when we get there, it's Wayne Gretzky. And if people who don't know Wayne Gretzky is, if you're in the hockey world, you'll know who he is. You know, and you get a little bit starstruck, and but in that evening, this kid from Coventry, that week rather, I trained with Daisy Duke.
Right.
I'm at Wayne Gretzky's house, and that evening we're in Wayne Gretzky's skybox at the Staples Center in Los Angeles watching Bruce Springsteen,
Wow.
the opening act. Yeah.
Well, did you turn around to your mate and say where did it all go wrong?
yeah. Well, if he hadn't got shot,
Right.
then yeah.
How long was he out of action for? Was he just out? Was it a couple of weeks or was he?
Garrett, oh no, long time. He lost an eye. He a long time. Yeah. He lucky to survive, really.
Yeah. I mean, normally if you get one in the eye, that's it.
4 times he got hit.
Wow. And what happened after that, Ian? Did you end up coming back to the UK? Was you?
No. I'm still back and forth from the States now. I got my American citizenship 11 years ago. I've been there 25 years.
Right.
So I, from that, built my own gym.
Right.
And it was this boxing area, group fitness area, personal training area. So I spent most of the time involved in group fitness, which I'd learnt from Garrett.
Right.
So it's all group fitness, personal training, all that kind of stuff. But like we spoke earlier, my entire existence now is as a self-promoter.
Right.
And when you hear that, you go, well, how does that work? I really don't know. I'm still figuring that out.
What I want to know though is, and not many people will know this, but they will do after this episode. But you're actually a big star in the retro computer games, isn't you?
I want to say a huge thanks to our sponsors, Fragrance du Bois. Now, for those of you that don't know about Fragrance du Bois, where have you been? It is one of the leading luxury fragrances, only available in Harrods, Selfridges and Neiman Marcus in New York. They've got so many different fragrances for men, for women. All of the fragrances are unisex. So make sure you get involved and sample the delights of Fragrance du Bois. For all the Criminal Connection podcast crew, we've got a special discount for you. 10% off. All you need to do when you click on the link below and choose your luxury fragrance is to put in CCPOD10 for the 10% discount.
A big star's a bit of a stretch, but
Ian, you're a big star to me.
big star.
Right. I mean, I'm sitting next to the Thing
The thing.
and fucking Robin, you know, and Angus, what's his name?
McGregor.
Angus McGregor, when he
Yeah,
lifts up
yeah.
his skirt and
Yeah.
a wee,
It's a kilt.
and a wee,
It's a kilt.
sorry, a kilt. I call it a skirt, but he lifts up his kilt
kilt.
and the little, and a wee fireball fires
It's not a wee one, it's a big one. It's a big one. So, yeah.
How did that all come about? Because it's crazy. I mean, did you was the Robin thing first, or was it the Thing first?
I don't know. It was 30 odd years ago. They were all pretty close. I think maybe Angus McGregor was first.
Did somebody just ring you up and go, Ian, do you want to be in a computer game? How did that
Yeah,
work?
that's exactly how it happened. In actual fact, I thought it was a wind up.
Fuck off.
But yeah, when you were at the door, people wind you up all the time. I get a phone call and somebody said exactly that. Do you want to be in a computer game? And I'd seen Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. And in actual fact, I was in the States only a few weeks ago with all the Mortal Kombat crew. But I digress. I've seen Mortal Kombat, I've seen Street Fighter. So I've seen fighting games, but I hadn't had a clue how they make them. And I get a phone call and somebody says, do you want to be in a computer game? And I've gone, okay. How's that work? So, well, drive to Manchester. Here's the address. And all you're going to do is some fighting moves. I was competing internationally at the time. So do some kicks and punches and you'll be in a computer game. And I'm thinking, this is a wind-up. But part of it sounded real. Got the address. Thought, right, I'd only got maybe, I'm going to say 24 hours notice, 48 hours notice. So I get in the car, get to Manchester. No GPS, no sat-nav at those times. It's all map. I try and find the place. I find this building. Looks like a building. There's no sign on it that says this is a studio for motion capture or whatever. It's just a building. So I open the door and I see this big green screen, big green wall. And this looks like the right place. And I walk in, and there's a woman standing there naked. And I thought, this is a porno. They have set me up to be in a porno. And my first thought, Terry, was, how much do they pay? How much are they paying for this? Let me hang around and see what's going on. But there was no changing facility. Right. And she didn't care. She was like, she was just getting changed. She'd done her bit. So I played the part of a Scottish brawler called Angus McGregor. And they glued a beard onto my face, gave me a kilt and a waistcoat, put me in front of a green screen. And the next thing they said was, what we doing? So I thought, I've got no idea. They got no script or nothing. It was just, we're going to kick and punch. Have you got any ideas? You're asking be careful who you're asking here, because my brain goes to some strange places. You're asking for some ideas. So basic punches, basic kicks. Don't make it look too karate. This is a Scottish brawler who can kick and punch a little bit. So then they wanted some special moves. So I just said, how about, because I've seen like Mortal Kombat where they fire flames from the hands. I said, how about I lift my kilt and this big fireball comes out. Guy's gone, yeah, great. Oh, really? Okay. Now a death move, fatality move. It's hard to say that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Fatality move. So I said, how about I punch him a few times, turn around, kick the head off. Can you make the head come off and then come down? Yeah, we can do that. So I say, I kick the head off. When it comes down, I'll headbutt it, look at the camera and say, okay. Yeah. So if you go to YouTube and you look for Angus McGregor, Kasumi Ninja,
right,
fatality move, you will see.
And what's the game called again?
Kasumi Ninja.
Kasumi Ninja. That's brilliant.
So,
I love that.
So because of the retro scene now, people are realising this guy really, he's real. He exists.
Right.
And I'm being invited to conventions to just sign autographs and hit them with fireballs. And
Batman, do you have to wear the skirt and the stick-on beard or not?
What, for Batman?
Now, I was going to ask you about Batman, because if I got a call saying, look, we're doing this Batman and Robin video game, I would have been like, listen, mate, I think I'm more Batman than Robin. Or didn't you care? It was just
They didn't ask. What it was, that they needed people who move differently.
Right.
Well, with Kasumi Ninja, with Angus McGregor, it was in front of a green screen, so it was me. If you see it, you can see it's me actually doing the moves. Batman and Robin and Fantastic Four was motion capture.
Right.
With motion capture, you basically wear, it's like a black leotard. You're basically naked, like just skin tight, and they put like little, like say tennis balls, little reflective balls on each of your joints. And they capture the movement. It's just a light. So they're not real cameras. There's 10 cameras around. I think it's 10 cameras around you. And all they do is pick up the reflective movement. So they don't ask you who you want to be. I did all the kicking of Batman. And I did all of Robin. So they just take your moves.
Right.
You look at the screen and they can move you around however they want. The funniest story from that was that you're in this suit for hours and hours and hours. And I was drinking a lot of Pepsi at the time. And I'd got some serious gas.
Right.
And it's really silent in there. There's like nothing. Deadly silent. They're all quiet on their computers and you're doing your moves. My stomach is killing me. So anyway, break time comes up and one lad says, I've got to go to the shop for something. Did you want to come out and get anything? So I said, yeah. So I got changed and I still didn't let anything go. I was still in pain. So I get changed, get in the car with him, and he pulls up at these shops. There's a car parked here and he parks there. So he gets out and I get out, and imagine a car's here and I stand up, I'm facing this way and my backside is right there. And I let the biggest one go and go, oh my God, so painful. And I turn around and the window's open. There's a woman sitting there.
Does she love that?
Yeah, she's like, so she's looking out the window and my backside's here and her face is there. I got, oh dear.
Did she look at you and go, you filthy animal?
Yeah, no, I don't know. She just looked in disgust. I thought I'd get out of here pretty quick. But yeah.
But see, Batman and Robin, and then was it because you'd done these other things that
yeah, it's the same company.
So they just kept coming back.
The same company said, do you want to do this other game?
Right.
And to be fair, all the games were shit. I was in 3 shit games. They weren't very good, but they're actually now, they're famous for being shit. People like them because they're these crap games. Oh, he's in that crap game.
Well, it was like I remember when then that Betovo thing come out with the tennis and the beep, 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 you know, and then the Atari come out and everyone had to have the Atari, and then it was I think it was like ZX Spectrums, VIC-20s. There was all these like computer games, and it was very basic. But do you know something? I think if you're our age, right, that's the sort of stuff that we grew up on.
The plug and play. There's no loading. Just put the disc in or whatever it is and just play it. Yeah, they were great, weren't they?
Yeah.
Remember, what's it called? Space Invaders in the pub.
That was the best one. Asteroids.
Yeah.
Missile Command.
Yeah.
Defender. That was, that was all the all the good games. Yeah, I mean, wow. You're taking me back now, Ian. So obviously we've only touched on the surface today because we didn't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
But for you now, what are you working on now? I know we're obviously doing what we said earlier, but for you personally, are you doing any more computer games? Have you got any?
I've just signed an NDA, so I can't talk about what it is we're doing. I don't know too much about it anyway. But there are some more computer games coming out because of that character we just mentioned. Right. They're doing something with him.
Wicked.
In other games to come. So I'm involved in that. So that's exciting. But my whole purpose right now is just getting this this book out to one in book form, but what we spoke about at the beginning.
You want to be like Rupert the Bear, don't you? Everybody knows Ian McGregor's name.
I am. Like I said, I call myself a self-promoter, but it's difficult.
I'm calling you your fucking...
Well, you did. You called me Angus McGregor, Ian McGregor. Yeah, you want to be Angus McGregor.
It's Ian McCranor, I know the name. But
yeah.
You'll have someone in the comments going, "No,
yeah, that's not right."
Are you still doing the door?
No, I'd never do that. No.
So when did you actually hang up your sort of door? Did you? Because back then everyone used to wear black tie, didn't they?
Yeah.
But when was the last time you worked on the door?
Oh, that was maybe a few years before I moved to the States. So that's 25, probably 30. No, close to 30 years ago.
Wow. And did you literally leave because you was going to the States, or would you had enough?
A bit of both. I've put in the book that it was coming to an end anyway. There's a guy in there who I'd had a run-in with, and he went to jail. He went to jail for killing 2 young kids. He come out of the pub drunk. It's only a few years ago he did this, but he come out the pub and he killed these two young kids with his car, and he went to jail for it. And when I found out that he killed these kids, my brain went to a place where I'd wished I'd killed him when I'd hit him. If I had, these kids would still be alive. It's a strange place. It's a strange thing to think, but I think, if I'd actually done what I was supposed to do to him that night, maybe this wouldn't have happened. He'd come to a pub one night. He got Larry. I'd hit him, but I got to that age and that time in my life where my intent had changed. Up until that point, my intent was just destroy him, knock him out, finish him, hurt him. I'm safe then. I'd hit him with no intention. I got to the point where I'm now scared of my own liberty. I'm a bit worried about what's going to happen. I was reliving other instances where I'd hit people. They hadn't woken up in time. It's been 3, 4, 5 minutes. And I started to think, it's only a matter of time before I bang somebody and I'm going to lose my liberty.
Right.
And with this guy, I'd hit him and he went down, but he got up. And that second I've gone, I can't do this anymore. Unless I can hurt him, unless I can really put him away, I can't do this anymore. He got in, he was pissed at his head as well. He got in his car and he was banging into parked cars and off he went. And many years later, he came out of the pub, hit some kids,
wow,
killed them on their way to school. And the father of the kids, a year later, hung himself.
Wow.
Because of
Terrible.
that. So, and it's weird because that had nothing to do with me whatsoever. I wasn't involved in any of that whatsoever. But my brain went to a place where if I had hurt him, if I had killed him by accident, or about manslaughter, maybe then kids would still be alive. And it's not, why I felt like that, I don't know.
Right.
Just that empathy that we spoke about.
Yeah.
I could have saved them kids by hurting him earlier. And it's strange the way, because of somebody who isn't a violent person, who learnt to be violent, learnt to be in that world, I end up with, I get a lot of anxiety. Never get depressed, but a lot of anxiety because of it, reliving some of the stuff I've been through.
Do you think because a few people who've had stressful jobs where they've seen stuff, whether it's in the army, whether it's on the door, anything like that, that they obviously sometimes have to treat it with like a PTSD cancer?
It is, yeah, exactly.
Have you done any of that, or do you?
I haven't, but I've heard of, and I totally understand it, I get it. People who grew up in violent homes, a lot of the bouncers that I worked with, pretty much all of them actually, grew up in violent homes. They were the troubled kids. Right. They're involved in violence all the time. And I wasn't. And a lot of those that I talk to, because I'm so honest and because I don't judge them, they open up about their anxiety, their depression. A lot of them are medicated because of it.
Right.
And that wasn't just from working the door. That was growing up in that violence with their parents. I could, there's hundreds of stories I could tell you that I've seen that affected me. One, while we're talking now, that comes to mind is a young lad, probably early 20s, had come to the nightclub, nicely dressed, didn't look like any trouble whatsoever. It was a quiet night. Place wasn't packed. He'd gone in, only been in there maybe 5 minutes, and we had lights. So if the red light went off, it was in that area of the club. If that, how that works. Right. So his light had gone off, and we'd gone in, and this lad, he's arguing with what is, we find out, is his ex-girlfriend. And so whoever were with him, he's polite, he's okay, he leaves. About an hour later, the police come in. They've come in to speak to his ex-girlfriend. I don't know how they found out she was there, but she come in, and the policewoman's standing next to me. The policeman's gone in talking to him, and this policewoman, she's sobbing, she's crying. So I get talking to her. Transpires, this lad had fallen out with his girlfriend, gone to her house, chopped her fucking dog up.
As you do.
Chopped her dog up and posted it through a letterbox in bits. And you think, well,
I mean, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. And another time, again, as I'm talking, you start reliving it. I'm standing not far from the dance floor, and I see this sparkling in somebody's hand. I just think it's a diamond ring. And looking down, thinking it just didn't feel right. Something wrong. So I walked down, and there's a woman standing there, and she's got like the big beer mugs.
Right.
Well, it's not a beer mug anymore. She smashed it, and she got the handle, and there's a big jagged bit.
Right.
She's standing there, and there's just tears pouring down her face. So I put my arm round her and through her arm to stop her. And she then starts telling me that her husband's on the dance floor with this girl, and she's going to carve the girl's face up. But he wasn't even, that was just a girl he'd asked to dance. That wasn't even anybody that he was with. And, there's hundreds of stories like that. When people think about a bouncer's job, the head goes to a place on the front door, a bouncer fighting. But there's so many more things that happen.
So a lot of your stuff really was preventative. It was literally spotting the problems before it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that guy who chopped up his girlfriend's dog and posted, I mean, it just sounds like insane.
You hear it, you go, that's got to be made up.
I'm a dog lover, yeah. So that makes me just go, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So he did that, and then what? Did he go in the club to say to her, "Look, sorry about the dog. Can we get back together?"
No, I've no idea. Yeah, sorry about
it's
the dog.
just like fucking. Well, after you've done, I got you there, didn't I?
Sorry about the dog. Can we get back together? Yeah, yes. Hey, just forget it.
I'm sorry, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But what? Again, we were talking earlier about the thought process of people who actually sits there and goes, I'm going to chop this dog up and post him through my ex-girlfriend's letterbox. That'll teach her. And then he turns up in the club and goes up to her.
No, it didn't work like that.
I thought that's what you meant.
No. He'd gone to the club.
Right. He had the row, and then he
had the row.
Right.
And then he left. And the police came to inform her
what he did.
That her dog had been posted through letterbox.
Would
she have him back? Not really.
Not me then. But it's just so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And what happened? Did the guy, he got arrested, I take it?
I have no idea. Right. The only thing I know is that what the policewoman told me.
Right, wow. And what you must have a couple more instances. You must have some more nutty stories, Ian, because those are two great stories.
Oh, great. How long have you got? This crazy one of 15 years. We had a crossbow pulled on us one night. We kicked a guy out, and he stood there at the door going, I'm coming back to get you. Guy I'm working with, Dave, rather than let it go, do it now. do it now. What are you going away for? Do it now. And he starts winding him up. The guy's leaving. The doorman, do it now. Oh, I'm going to come back. No, you won't. Yes, I will. No, you won't. So Dave's making it worse. So he drives away. Short while later, car comes back, wheel spins outside the door, nightclub. He said, I said, Dave, that guy's back. He said, fucking, let's have him. Go out to the front door. He gets out, puts a crossbow on top of the car. We just legged it. So, but Dave had gone around the back to try and get him, but he got in his car and fucked off. But who brings a crossbow back to?
But there was a thing that we did when we was doing events, and I always said to my security, because they'd always be doing security on the other security, and I always said, and I'd always have a spotter in the car park, and I'd always have 2 people on the actual front door and 2 people in the queue, and I said, if anybody gets thrown out, if anybody fucking starts any trouble, if anyone's been caught mugging anybody, and if they get bashed up, because they used to beat them up, right? When they go out, if they say, I'm coming back, do not let them fucking go, right?
Yeah.
Because you never know. And if someone says they're going to come back, if someone's going to come out and shoot you and you let them go, that you're a fucking idiot, right?
Yeah.
Because that actually happened twice. Not to us, but there was a venue in East London where it happened. And there was a venue in Essex where it happened, where these people got ejected. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to do this. And they go and get your gun then, big man. He's come back, bang, bang. You know, and both occasions, 2 people died, 2 people got wounded. And I just said, anybody says that, they, you know, don't let them get.
Yeah.
Because if you incapacitate somebody, I know it sounds bad, but they're not going to be able to go and they're not going to be able to lift up a gun. I know it sounds bad. And obviously, look, the world we live in now is different. The CCTV, and they probably wouldn't do that, right? But then there was no CCTV, so they knew that if they come back and went bang, they probably get away with it.
Yeah, you do make enemies though. There's no doubt about it. When you're working the door, you can't not make enemies.
But also for you, if you're in the city and you live there, you know, you're a target. So it's not hard to find out where you live.
Yeah,
and you know, if you really did someone off, then they could target your family. And
that's what
you know.
we keep coming back to. What we speaking about earlier. It's not about you becoming a good boxer.
Right.
Doesn't matter how good a boxer you are, how good you are in a cage fight. You know, they are, whether you like it or not, they're sports. They're controlled, the referee, and when it's over, it's over.
Right.
When it kicks off in a nightclub or in the criminal world, it's not over. It's gang stuff. It's they're after you.
It's gang shit.
Gang shit, man. Yeah.
Is there any other nutty? So you've had the crossbow, you've had the dog being chopped up and posted through the letterbox. There must be. Have you got any other crazy? There's got to be another one or two.
I'll give you one.
Go on.
But isn't crazy. It's funny.
Right. Okay. Well, I like funny stories.
It's a funny story. It's not crazy. Somebody comes to the door. Somebody comes from inside the club, out to the front door, and said, "There's a guy out there charging people to go to the toilet." Fair play to him, entrepreneur. So I've gone up and this real rough looking, he looked like he handled himself, standing there charging people 50 pence to go to the toilet, and they're paying. I said, but you can't do that. Hey, come on. And he was fine. He leaves. So we walk out, and now we're out, we think it's over. Looks at me, he says, "Do you know who I am?" So I do not know who you are. He said, "I am a sparring partner for all the top Coventry boxers." I said, "Okay." He said, "Let's me and you have it right now." I said, "Fucking what?" I said, "Me and you, let's have it right now." He said, "I spar with all the top boxers, get them ready for competition." And he's squaring up to me. I just banged him, knocked him clean out. He's lying there, and his girlfriend jumps on my back, starts hitting me on the head with the stiletto heel. Got her off. Anyway, he stands up. He's only out for a few seconds. He stands up. He said, "I fucking told you, I'm poof." So I hit him, and he's out again. And it sounds funny now, but it was at the time. It was just like, what the who is this guy? But he was so confident. Right. He spars with all these top boxers. Anyway, he gets up. He goes, "Right." He said, "I can't spar with them now." He was nuts. I can't spar with them now. I've got concussion. So they're not going to allow me to spar. If I can't spar, those guys lose a sparring partner, which means they can't compete, which their backers are going to lose millions. And I'm standing there thinking, what the f*** am I listening to? Anyway, we was off, shut the door. Maybe 20 minutes later, we hear sirens. The fire engines are outside. We open the door. There's fire engines everywhere. The firemen jump out. There's no fire. And the police turn up. There's a phone box outside. And he's standing there watching the fireman. He'd made the phone call that the place is burning down. So the police can come and talk to us. And I said, I know who's done this. It's sparring partner guy over there. He's called the police. He's called the fire. Said there's a fire. So the police go in, and I open the door. The police says, right. They start talking to him about what's going on. He goes, do you know who I am? He said, I spar with all the Coventry boxers. He starts telling the police, fucking getting the police, man. But that was a funny story.
There is some crazy people.
There's some crazy people out there, yeah. But he was so confident with it and he looked the part.
Right.
Me and you, let's have a go, you know. But I did him twice and he didn't even see it coming.
Right. So he wasn't a very good time.
He wasn't good. No. Didn't hit him very hard, did I? He got up twice.
And for you, Ian, like anybody who's thinking of embarking on working on a door, doing security, or studying a martial art, what words of wisdom would you impart on them if they went to you, Ian, look, I really want to become like you, a sixth dan in karate, or I really want to, compete for England, or I want to take over the world, or I want to be the best security man in the world. What advice would you give to them?
I'd ask them what their objective was, first of all. What is it you want to get out of it? I mean, I started working the door because somebody told me I could have a fight. A former doorman, a person at the time was working the door, said, come and join my team. You make a good addition to our team. So I started it, not because I wanted to. He told me I could, and I thought I could. And then when I realised I couldn't live with myself. So my advice to somebody who wants to start working the door, don't. It's a no-win, really. It's a stupid job. Somebody's got to do it. But it's just, when you work as a bouncer, you're basically saying, literally anybody on the planet can come to that door and try and get in. Anybody can. And you've got to deal with it. It's very stressful. If they wanted to start a martial art, again, what is it you want to get out of it? What I got out of it was I became a competitive athlete. But separate them. I'd actually like to take the martial arts and remove the label self-defense. Take self-defense out of it. Enjoy your art. Enjoy it as a sport. Get fit. Get healthy. Gain some confidence. If you're going to have a square go with somebody, don't. Why are you doing that anyway? Because a one-on-one square go, that can be dangerous too. Why are you doing it? Gain some confidence, get fit, get healthy. And if you really do have to deal with a situation, don't give people the chance to have a fight with you. Finish it. But 99 times out of 100, you can finish it by saying no and run.
Right. And have you got a funny joke for us, Ian? Because you have got some great banter. So
when I worked the door, I could tell jokes all day long because you hear them all the time. I'll try and tell you one. If it don't work, can we have more than one take?
Yeah, of course.
We'll try it again. Okay. And this is the adult content, right?
Right, okay, but yeah, but listen, mate, most people watch this are over 18, so.
Promise me when I finish, you will laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it isn't funny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to die. Okay. And if you've heard it, just say you haven't.
Okay.
And just okay.
I'll pretend, I've done a bit of acting, so I'll be all right.
You have?
Yeah, so I'll be all right.
Okay. Funny joke. Adult content joke. This guy walks into a pub. Obviously he does. Walks into a pub. And there's this big off jar sitting on the bar. Massive jar. Full of money. And he says, says to the barman, what's all that about? What's in there? He There's 50 grand in there. I said, what's that about then? He says, a game. We play a game. There's 3 tasks you've got to complete. We change the tasks all the time. But you complete these 3 tasks. It's 100 quid a go. Put 100 quid in there, 50k in there. 3 tasks. He said, I'll do it. I said, whoa. Listen to the task first. He said, what's the first task? So the first task is go outside, see Jim, the doorman, beat the shit out of him, bring him in, throw him on the dance floor. Okay, what's the second task? See that red door? So you go through that. He says, yeah. He says, a massive pit bull with an abscess on its tooth. Remove the tooth. Okay, what's the third task? He says, go upstairs. Yeah. There's a 95-year-old woman. She hasn't showered in months. She stinks. Got to sort her out. Give her one. Make her orgasm 3 times. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. Puts his 100 quid in the jar. He says, right, I need a few drinks first. Anyway, he gets shit-faced. He says, right, steaming, ready. Goes out the front door. He's out there, 10 minutes, bang, boom. You hear the thuds and the violence. And he comes in, his nose is bleeding, his eyes cut. He's got Jim. Throws him on the floor. Goes, right. Goes in door number 2. He's in there 2 hours. There's growling, there's howling, there's blood-curdling screams. He comes out after 2 hours. He's got limbs, fingers missing, blood pouring down his face. His shirt ripped off. He's there, he's going, I did it. He says, right, where's that old lady with the bad tooth?
See, I haven't heard that one, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
So when you think about it, you go, oh, I know what he's just done.
Wow.
Like that one.
Yeah, I did. I mean, anybody who likes bestiality, I love it too.
Yeah. It's got it all, hasn't it?
It's got it all.
It's got it all.
Well, world exclusive on the Criminal Connection podcast. But Ian, honestly, mate, it's been great having you on today, and it's been good hearing a little bit about your life. It's been good to share some of your stories, and I'm sure some of the people are going to be going, "Wow, what a life!" So I'm sure they're going to be playing your games. I'm sure they're going to be buying and reading your book, and I'm sure when we get the movie done or the TV series, they're going to be watching that as well.
Yeah. That's going to be an exciting project.
Yeah.
That I am really excited about.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Ian, thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate
on.
it, mate.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
You. Thanks for tuning in to the Criminal Connection podcast, Ian McGregor. McCranor! Ian McCranor, what an amazing guest. Make sure you go to the link below, buy his book. It is a great read. And make sure you tune in next week, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's free. It costs you $0. And make sure you tune in next week. We've got another amazing guest, and we will see you on the other side.